Hi everyone, this is Rita, and I am the immigration consultant at North Horizon Immigration. I am doing this video this morning, I'm doing this video because I want to update you on some news about the coronavirus and how this is affecting Canadian immigration. So we were getting a lot of questions about from our clients, and we want to make sure that we answer all of your doubts, or as much as we can. So I'm just going to start. I'm going to go point by point. What are the news as of today? Today is Thursday, March 19th, and I'm streaming from Vancouver, Canada. So the biggest news is, as of yesterday midday, if you are holding a student permit for Canada, a work permit for Canada, a visa, or an ETA, you cannot come inside the country. So if you're outside the country and you were on a vacation and now you want to come back to continue studying or continue working, unfortunately, you cannot enter. So who are the people who can enter right now? We have Canadian citizens and permanent residents. If you are somebody who received a confirmation of permanent residency letter, so that means your permanent residency was accepted, but you didn't do the landing process yet. We don't have a clear answer about whether or not this is going to be accepted. It sounds like it's not, because you're not a PR yet. So what I would advise is that you send an email to the office that processed your permanent residency, so that means your embassy. The next one on the list is citizenship. If you are you're probably in Canada waiting for a citizenship process to be finished. So all of the citizenship knowledge tests and all of the citizenship ceremonies have currently been suspended. So we don't know when they're going to start doing those again, but if you're in your citizenship process, it's probably going to take a little bit longer for you to get that resolved. Another important one, visa application centers. So these are the centers that are in different countries where people can do their biometrics. So if you have applied for a work permit or a student permit or a visa, you will have to do your biometrics. You usually have to go to the visa application center for this. Not all of them are open. Some are open, some are closed. The list is extremely long, so you would have to call your visa application center and check if they will accept you to go to an appointment for biometrics. On that note, if you were requested biometrics and you call and the center is closed, don't panic. The government has probably given you 30 days to do your biometrics. This is automatically extended to 90 days. This goes also for somebody who may be in another process. If you're doing a permanent residency process, any process where you have been requested some additional documents like another police certificate or something like that, and you cannot get to your authorities to do a new police certificate, but because maybe in your country the police stations are not giving you police certificates right now, that's okay. You would have 90 days to get that resolved. As of now, this may change, but right now that's how it is. Another very important one. So the USA-Canada border announced that they would be closing non-essential access. So that means Americans or anyone in America, in the United States, wouldn't be able to just cross to Canada for a tourist reason, for example. In the same way, a person who's in Canada who wants to go to the US for some shopping or to visit some friends are not able to do that anymore. The only people who are allowed to cross the Canada-USA border are for trades reason. So for example, a truck driver who's bringing in some food for Canadians. Now, what happens to flag polling? This is the big question. If you are preparing a work permit application and you're from a country that is visa exempt, for example, if you're from Mexico and you're used to your friends, you go to the border with your application and you get a work permit at the border. This is called flag polling, and I called CBSA. CBSA is Canada Border Services Agency. I just called them a few minutes ago, and they confirmed that this is not an essential travel and you will not be allowed to do this. So the big risk here is that you go to the border, you might get inside the US, and when you arrive to the Canadian border, they will tell you, no, you can't come in because you're not a Canadian permanent resident or Canadian citizen, so you might be stuck in the USA. So I would highly recommend you not to do flagpoling and to send an online application instead. What else do we have in my list? Immigration court. So anyone who has an inadmissibility hearing or an appeal or anything that had, probably an appeal, but an inadmissibility hearing, anything that had to happen at the immigration court, it will be postponed. They said that all hearings are postponed currently until April 5th. So we don't know if after April 5th things are going to go back to normal or not, but this court has announced that currently everything is postponed till then. There's also some people who might have cases with the Federal Court of Appeal. In this situation, the Federal Court said that everything would be adjourned. So as of the 17th, 2 days ago. How long, when these new dates for adjournment for the new hearings are going to come out, that's going to be a case-by-case process. We have also landing appointments for people who were applying for permanent residency from inside Canada. So they're already here. Usually when you were inside Canada, you had two choices for your permanent residency landing. You either go to the border, we already talked about that, that's not going to happen right now, or you receive an appointment to go to a location, an IRCC location in your city. Here in Vancouver, there's a big landing location where most people who do their permanent residency in British Columbia, if they're close to Vancouver, that's where they would have to go. Currently, they will cancel all of those appointments because there are personal one-on-one appointments. There are people who will be waiting, lining up, and other people meeting with government officials, and therefore that causes risk for passing on any symptoms of the virus, and therefore they are canceling these appointments. And they have said that they will be doing landing appointments on the phone. So we don't know yet exactly how that's going to work. It's an extraordinary circumstance, but you might be receiving emails indicating at this time, this hour, this day, be next to your phone. We're going to call you. We're going to do a final little phone appointment to finalize your permanent residency landing. When it comes to refugee hearings, same thing. Refugees hearings are on hold right now, so they might also, I don't think they'll be done on the phone. Those ones usually will require a personal, physical presence. So right now, those are postponed. And of course, any Canadian or permanent resident who is entering Canada as of yesterday or as before yesterday, actually, it's been almost a week now, is required to do a 14 days self-quarantine. So that means if you are Canadian or permanent resident and you're traveling somewhere outside Canada, when you come inside, you will be required to stay at home and not do any non-essential walking around. So that means you shouldn't be going into your office to work. You shouldn't be going to school. If you're going to study, you should stay at home. In fact, the schools have said that they would require students coming back from vacation to stay 14 days at home. Then we also have, I think I've covered everything I had on my list. I don't know if we have specific questions. Let me look at the questions here. Asylum in Canada suspended. Canada hasn't suspended its refugee program, but anyone who's here right now and needs to do a refugee hearing, they won't be able to do it these specific days. It'll be postponed. And I think that was the only question that we had. What is the most important thing I want everyone to know? The government is still working. The embassies are still processing applications. The offices inside Canada are still processing permanent residencies, still processing any provincial nomination program. It's still happening. Student permits, visas, everything is still working normally, but it's just going to take more time. So that's because some government officials, just like everyone, some people are sick and are at home, other people are working from home, and it makes work maybe a little slower. Some other people can't be doing applications. They have to be taking care of another situation that the government is dealing with. And so that's why your application is going to take a little bit more time. But does that mean you should cancel an application that you started? Not at all. Does that mean if you were planning on studying in September, you should change your plans? Not really. Of course, we don't know how long this is going to last, but if you apply for your student permit, it will be processed. And if you are starting school in September, I want to believe that by then the whole world would have healed and you will be able to come and start studying. Same thing for work permits. Any other message? Okay, I think that's all. So please share this video with anyone of your friends or family members who are interested in immigration to Canada. It's a complicated time, but it's not a time to panic if you haven't started your application. If you're a student or a worker who is stuck abroad, all I can say is, remain positive, be patient, and hopefully we'll be able to have you back here in Canada soon and healthy. Thanks a lot. If you need anything else, you can email us info@nhimmigration.ca. Subscribe to our channel, and you will be constantly updated on what's going on with Canadian immigration. Thank you.